Don't you guys just hate it when somebody's reboxing over and over and you can't seem to end the fight quickly? What I recommend doing is sliding a cone in, either by editing your floor like this and trapping them inside of it, or by doing it from outside the box and you're able to easily take them out by taking the wall straight after.
Oh, the face!
Oh, my face!
One of the biggest mistakes I see people making when it comes to fighting in solo arena is trying to turn every fight into a build fight. And instead of doing that, you should instead focus on keeping a crosshair on your opponent. So you can see here, I track the guy with my crosshair, I realize where he is, I'm going to get the floor and then line up a really bit of simple piece where I get a cone and a top right hand peak. It's very simple, but again, it all just comes from the fact that I'm keeping my crosshair within 30 degrees of the guy at all points during the fight. Makes it easier to line up maxes and it makes it easier to finish the fight quick. One of the most underrated aspects for solo fighting, in my opinion, is just reading what your opponent is doing. What are they holding out? What do they have in their hands? What way are they looking? How are they actually moving around in terms of their head and their pencil and stuff? It's going to allow you to just outplay your opponents just by realizing what they're going to do before they even know what they're trying to do themselves. One thing that I did this fight was actually slow down what I was doing and focused on what he was doing. And I saw his pencil move from inside of his box, which means he's confirming an edit. And that allowed me to line up a nice pre-fire and almost close him off right there. One thing that I've been doing from watching Veno is trying to use my movement to counter peaks that other people do. What I mean by this is trying to actually predict what edit they're going to do, what's the most common edit they can do, and how can you position to avoid it. So in this clip, I go ahead and crouch into the top right hand peak, into the left hand side of the box, which means I'm completely able to dodge his shot and hit him white straight after. Unfortunately though, I was actually getting third partied in this fight, and this guy was actually pressuring me pretty well. I realized it was a good player straight off the bat, definitely a player with earnings. So what I did was I went ahead and reboxed downwards just like this, and this completely caught him off guard. Whenever you rebox downwards, people always try to chase you, and you're able to counter peek straight up, and I was able to take him out. It actually ended up being one of my old duos, Quaker, who was trying to fight me. Quaker! Here's another thing that I learned from doing that Veno W key video the other day. What Veno does the whole time, especially in duos, is he blueprint edits from a distance away. Like I do here, so I can get the spray through, and the guy's not expecting his wall to be broken and replaced and edited from that distance away. It's really effective. And the second thing, something I saw Veno do a lot in solos, and also Tayson did this to clutch up the grand finals win, is crouching into the box from the bottom right hand side of the wall after you phase a cone in. So you phase that cone in with a double pickaxe break, and then when the guy is in the box dealing with the cone and it's quite annoying, you double pickaxe in again from the bottom right hand side of the wall. This means that he can't see you at all, and you just end up going straight into his box and catching him off guard. I'm sure you guys have this situation happen a lot, where there's somebody up against your wall and you don't want to risk doing a top right hand peek where they could just run into your box. This is an edit I do the whole time. I do the 4 tiles and then shoot them through that little crack, and you can always get a 100 tag very safely and not get shot in return. This works really nicely in arena. It's a very safe edit to do if you guys want to go ahead and not take any damage in return. A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually spot your gun through walls whenever you're camping in a building. This guy wasn't aware of it, so I was able to line up a shot right here. And what I did straight after my shot was I forced the stare in, going left to right, which means that he can't actually headshot me while he's in that position. What you should do instead is hide behind the peak a little bit further back so people don't see your gun barrel poking through, and you can get an easy clutch up like I did here. Oh, I'm crazy! I'm hitting the max, boys! This is a classic solo arena fight where somebody just reboxes loads and they've got good ping and you can't really finish the fight too quickly. So I decided to turn my attention to this guy coming in and third partying me, hit him 60, stay over my head after one pickaxe swing and got straight into his box and took him out. However, at this point I was still fighting the original guy, and I sort of realised his playstyle. He'd always try to rebox and he was quite like a quick player in terms of counter peeking. So I realised this by now, we'd already been fighting for like a minute or so, and I went ahead and took his wall. He would rebox and then try to counter peek, and you can see I read that really well. I hold my edit for a second and then I'm able to take him out. It's really important, something I learned from Malibuka, to actually wait for the other person's play and see what they're doing, and then to go ahead and edit. Don't just do things as quick as possible. Instead, slow down, act like you're on higher ping, and wait for them to commit into the space where you can piece them up. 2 things that I've been trying to do more is using left and right hand side windows rather than the middle. This means that it's a lot harder to get shot in return because of course the windows are a lot tighter, and also whenever somebody's on a stair like this, it's a very awkward angle for them to actually shoot you back. Another big thing is trying to get these extended walls on people as they're reboxing away from you. Whenever somebody reboxes away, of course, the last wall that they place is going to be the one closest to you. And finally, I was able to take the guy out just by doing this pickaxe timing through his wall that a lot of people don't expect. One thing that is really important this season is doing good peeks. I start this fight off by doing a bad sort of rushed peek. I recover it by doing a top right hand peek, and I hold my stare at it even with it on release to go the whole way to the left hand side of the wall to get a free timing shot. After this, I go ahead and swap up the angle that I'm approaching from. It's very important that you try to swap up the angle and do a different edit on a different piece if you have control of it. Don't just peek from the same wall and try to out-trade the guy when everyone is running out of mythic shotguns this late in the game, and it's very likely that you can get one pumped if you do a bad edit. This fight, I made a mistake straight off the bat as I went too close to the middle window, so allowed the guy to left-hand peek me. Whenever you're too close to an edit, it means your character model is a lot bigger, it's a lot easier to get maxed in return. However, I recovered the fight by controlling this left-hand wall from earlier when I set up on the box. I was able to bait out his shotgun and then actually slide into the box on a left-hand peek. This is very risky to do. However, I know his shotgun wasn't ready, and also the crosshair placement whenever someone's sliding, it's very hard to flick and hit them in that timing. Alright, that's all I've got for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I definitely learned a lot about solo fighting, and I've improved a lot just from recording this video and editing these clips and going back and doing my fighting. So I hope you guys did as well. Also, let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoyed this video and you want more solo fighting content. I should have some more solo video content coming out as well for these solo cash cups. But I think I want to focus on helping you guys get better at fighting on my YouTube.